Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, West Bromwich Albion career mode, and today's episode is the final one of the season. We got through here today. We've got 3 games in it. We've got one really, should be a tough one against Chelsea. We're starting off against Burnley and we finish it off with a game against Swansea City at the Hawthorns. I believe it is at the Hawthorns, last home game of the season. So we still have our Europa League dream available. We're in 5th place. I think it was at the end of the last episode, which we ended spectacularly with 3 big wins against tough opposition. So we're coming into this game riding a wave basically. So if we could just continue that form, we can make it happen and get into Europa League for the next season. We can still do that if we finish where we are now, depending on who wins the EFL Cup and the FA Cup. Obviously that plays a factor, but 32 minutes in against Burnley, relegation candidates, we did drop behind by Ashley Barnes' goal. I think it was him who actually got around the defender and slid it into Andre Gray. He was denied by Ben Foster. Good save. Ben Foster actually got back up and pounced on it again to make another really good save. He couldn't get onto the 3rd attempt though, as Ashley Barnes slid towards it and put it in off the crossbar. Matt Phillips couldn't get there. Reece James on the line couldn't really do much about it. It's come off the crossbar, dropped in underneath, well, past the line. And we are 1-0 down right here. Nasser Chadli has a chance from a free kick, gonna try and make something happen. My free kicks this year, if you guys will remember, my free kicks used to be real, just automatic, just back of the net all the time. But this year, I don't even think I've scored one. I haven't scored one in the career mode, definitely, but I can't remember the last time I scored one. I think the last time I scored one was in pro clubs a while ago. I scored my first free kick I ever took on this game on pro clubs, and since then it's been a bit of a struggle because there's just not as much curler as there was last year. They've finally made it difficult to score free kicks. I've been saying for so long, free kicks are way too easy, so I'm happy with that. They're not so easy to score anymore. We're struggling to get back into this game though, as Gardner's header comes off the crossbar. Berahino just shot wide as he was offside. Matt Phillips gets around. His shot is going to deflect off the defender. We go straight into the hands of Heaton. This time it's Gardner sliding it into Lecco, who's got some space on the left hand side. He shoots with his left foot across the goal, and Tom Heaton makes another good save to keep Burnley in the lead. It's Gray now getting in behind. He pulls it backwards to Dean Marnie, and he lets off a ferocious shot from outside the box, which just flies past the goals. But that was the final effort of the game, and Burnley did get out of there with a win. So we have dropped 3 points definitely in this match. Well, there's no doubt. We don't even need to mention that's 3 points dropped. Of course it is. We've come off the back of 3 wins against Liverpool, Manchester City and Leicester, coming into a game against Burnley in the relegation zone, and we've dropped all 3 points. That's been the story of our season almost. We've been beating teams we shouldn't be beating really, and then losing against teams like Burnley and Middlesbrough. We've lost against teams like Swansea, we've lost against Southampton, who are also in the relegation zone, who we've lost against. But we have a big game against Chelsea now. We need to pick up some results just to make sure we can stay around this area that we're in right now and confirm Europa League football for next season. Chelsea, we get off to a good start right there as Jonathan Lecco is crossed towards him and his header just goes wide of the post. Really quick reflex. It's a good cross right here and he just flicks it on, gets there before David Luiz, and his header is just wide of the post. Can't hit the target with it, unfortunately, Jonathan Lecco. Chelsea now, no, sorry, we have a corner right here. Into the second half we go. Chadli again. It's Gardner getting up above. For some reason, he seems to be the danger man from all set pieces, rising up above everybody. His header just over the crossbar. If he decided to go to the other side of the goal, Courtois had left it pretty much all vacant. It would have maybe went into the back of the net. Willian is played for on goal this time, 63 minutes in, and Ben Foster is there again, stepping up to make another good save. He's decreasing in stats, but he might be our keeper for the near future, for at least another couple of seasons. We don't really need another keeper at the moment because Ben Foster is just performing. I don't see no reason to replace him really. Oscar making a really good bit of dribbling, well, just a great turn to get around his man, and then the touch to get around Stasic, I think it is, who comes out at him. That one right there to get around him, and the left foot finish into the bottom corner is just exquisite. It's just tasty finish, excellent, naughty, puts Chelsea 1-0 in the lead, and that's the difference with quality right there. That's where these teams separate themselves, because we dominated quite a fair amount of this game really with the chances, as Chadley gets turning, gets around his man, hops over the challenge, plays in Matt Phillips, and Matt Phillips' finish just has too much on it right there to get us back into this game. 78 minutes on the clock. Nacer Chadley's gone on a brilliant run. He slid it into Matt Phillips, and there's just too much. I don't even feel like I put that much on the finish. That was our final chance to get something out of this game. Antonio Conte shakes hands with us, and Chelsea, they're happy with the result. They're obviously not able to win the league anymore, as Manchester United. Yes, Manchester United actually. Sorry, Manchester United have wrapped up the league in this series. They are the Premier League winners, but Chelsea just doing it for bands basically. This is what training is looking like right now. We're trying to train Rose, because I don't see why not. On FIFA now, especially with the training, I don't see any reason really to be buying keepers with huge potential, because training does so much of that for you. I don't even know what Rose's potential is like. He might have high potential, but he does have the green little symbol next to his name. So as long as we train him, we could throw him up by probably over 10 overalls a season, so we're probably going to do that, to be honest. But yeah, and keep Ben Foster in the meantime. But we have the final game of the season right here against Swans. We had a chance early on right there, and the second of the game comes and falls to Nacer Chadley, assisted by Saido Berahino. And to kill the season off, Nacer Chadley hits a little dab right there. 17 minutes on the clock. Just Chadley and Berahino, they're just building a partnership that it's going to look dangerous for next season. If we continue the form that we've taken into 2017, then we could be real dangerous coming into next season. Obviously, it's going to be a lot tougher, but I don't know. I'm going to make sure it doesn't get too easy all the time, because if it does, we're going to put up the slides a little bit more, and we might even go onto manual settings to take it off the system and go manual passing, shooting, whatever we need, just to make sure it doesn't get stale and too easy. Make sure it's always a challenge. 1-0 up, sorry, getting back into the game. 26 minutes on the clock, we're passing it around. Look at the movement. Gardner finds Chadley, he passes it on to Jakob. He's got Berahino in front of him, he's got Leon down the side, he finds Berahino. It's a brilliant first touch. He latches onto the end of it, and he just buries it into the far post. What a beautiful team goal from West Bromwich Albion. The highlight was relatively long, passing it around at the back of our half, if you want to say that, or the back of their half almost, before it comes to Jakob. Look at the first touch. The first touch with the left foot by Berahino is just beautiful, to keep it away from his man, set it up in a nice position for him to shoot, and the finish right there from a tight angle. Just look at the way it caresses the inside of the net. It just caresses the inside of the net. It's a beautiful goal right here. Berahino finds Matt Phillips again down the right hand side. He tries to cross it. It ends up still at his feet. He crosses it to Jonathan Lecco, not Berahino this time. And Jonathan Lecco lashes onto another header and hits the crossbar. We hit the crossbar from another header in this episode. The first from Craig Gardner, obviously. This time, Jonathan Lecco getting on the end of it. He's been unfortunate quite a lot this season to not be able to get goal. Like, he's got what, 3 or 4 goals in the Premier League this season. He's been unfortunate to not get a bit more, because he's hit the crossbar and the post a little bit a few times, but he's had a brilliant season for us, especially the second half of the season regardless, and he's such a promising player going forward. 66 minutes on the clock now, still 2-0 up. It's Ki Sung Young after some nice football right there. He just drags his shot a little bit wide. It's still a good effort, to be honest. It's not really causing the problems, but Ben Foster has to think about it a little bit. But yeah, he's just dragged it wide a little bit. 75 minutes on the clock. I think this might even be the final highlight of the game. Gareth McCauley gets subbed on for his final appearance for West Bromwich Albion, and as he's told me before this game, he will be retiring. He told me early on in the season that he's thinking about it, but this time he's told me this will be his final game. Wanted to get him involved just so we can say bye to the fans. Look at that little run though by Tyler Roberts in the 90th minute. It's a nice ball played into him. You see the replay, he's taking a touch, and it's just opening up for him as he's running around. Nice run from Berahino to take the defenders away. He just couldn't finish it and get a goal on the final game this season, as he's denied by Flappy Hansky. But we did get all 3 points anyway. We take the 2-0 win in the final game of the season. Now we just have to wait and see what the table is looking like, what's going on, because to be honest, going into it, I hadn't even checked what's going on around the table. All I'd known was what's happening above me and what was happening below me. But obviously I only check the table at the end of each episode. I don't check it at the beginning. So I didn't know what previous results were for all the teams anyway in the last 2 games. But full time ended 2-0 to West Brom, and I don't know what am I doing, but I don't know why this isn't edited right now. I usually edit all this out, but getting into the end of the season anyway, Willian somehow ended with 20 goals. And still, FIFA is obviously still broken when it comes to top scorers, because players like Aguero aren't even up there. Well, players like Aguero don't play, so that's probably why they ain't up there. But it is what it is. Depay pipped Nasser Chadli to the assist leader by 1 assist. Ben Foster in 2nd place for the clean sheets. That's an achievement right here. And you can see what matters here. Chelsea and Manchester City both in the EFL Cup. Thankfully, Chelsea did beat Manchester City in the EFL Cup. Otherwise, they would have taken that Europa League spot from us. And the FA Cup final is between Tottenham and Manchester United, who you can see are both in the top 4. So that means we are in the Europa League for next season. We've secured a spot. Thankfully, Chelsea had beat Manchester City, because obviously that would have taken... Actually, I think that would have taken Everton's spot, actually. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that would have taken Everton's spot. But either way, we are in the Europa League for next season. We've just about got there. We couldn't get into that 5th spot, but we're in the Europa League next season. And on top of that, you see we get a huge 97 million prize money for finishing in 6th place. And you can also see that our club valuation is going up. That 97 million is going a huge way towards that 85 million profit that they wanted us to get, which I was so worried about. I didn't think we was going to get that much money. I was thinking we'd get about 40, 50, maybe 60 million, but 97, I guess I wasn't expecting us to finish that high either, to be honest. But you can see our objectives for the season, and you can see that long-term objective, which hadn't moved all season, has flown up at the end of the season. Well, towards the last few games of the season, it did start moving. You can also see again a few players who are going to leave us at the end of this season. Darren Fletcher is one of them. I don't see a reason to renew his contract with his stats going down the way they are. I just don't see a reason. If he had 2 more years in his contract, I'd keep him around, but I don't see a reason to renew him for a year. We're going to obviously look to strengthen the squad a lot now that we're in the Europa League. A lot more games are going to have to be played with us wanting to be doing better in the FA Cup also. So there will be a lot more games next season. We need to strengthen this squad because it is not strong enough to handle Europa League. We will struggle because it's not even big enough to handle the Premier League and the FA Cup and all of that, really. So we need to bring in some players, even if it's just quantity over quality. We need to bring in names. We need to strengthen this squad. We need to. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the season, the last thing I'm going to leave you with right here is a message from the board saying, you can see right here, while we didn't achieve all of our objectives, we believe that overall it was a satisfactory performance. We hope to do even better next year and feel that you are still the right man for the job, which means obviously we are able to keep our job. We did end with 80 million profit, so we was 5 off of what they wanted, but in achieving the domestic goal, the brand exposure goal and the youth development goal, I guess it was enough for them. They was happy to let us keep our job for at least the near future, because we are getting close to the long-term financial goal. So it is what it is. Join us for next season, because we will still be West Bromwich Albion manager. We will have Europa League football, and we will be... The next episode will be a transfer update episode. The first episode of the season is always transfers during the pre-season period, because we're not going to play pre-season. We're just going to simulate it. But I hope you enjoyed this season. You're going to enjoy the next one even more. Bye.